So back before COVID, this had to be 2017, 2018. I moved to New York after having a lifelong period in Atlanta, Georgia. I wanted to get out of the city. I wanted to move to the big city, the Big Apple, and pursue my dream of modeling. I quickly realized that that was not something I was passionate about, and I went along the journey of trying to figure out what it was that I could contribute to the world. And there was one day I got home from work. I went downstairs in my two-story, five roommate apartment, and there was a book that was near my door. This book didn't belong to anyone in the apartment. No one knew how it got there. I actually asked my roommate who was across from me, "Hey, is this your book?" And he said no, he had no idea where it came from. This book was a book called The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. And this was my first time seeing this book ever. I had heard of Wayne Dyer and I was curious about his work, but I had never read any of his work and I was very new to what he was teaching. For those of you that don't know, Wayne Dyer has since passed away, but he was a spiritual guru who would teach people basic principles about how to live a better life, how to think about life from a different perspective. He was very big on intention. And I got really curious about him. I got really curious about his work. And something that really stood out to me and to this day stands out to me is something that I carry with me everywhere I go. It's something that moved me to quit my job. It's something that moved me to start my candy brand. It's something that moved me to leave New York and quit modeling. It's something that moved me to start my first brand, which was a fashion brand. It's something that moves me to do everything major in my life. And that thing is asking myself, what if? And a lot of you might be thinking, okay, what if that's not a what if what? you know, but asking yourself what if is very, very profound. And asking yourself what if was something that I was first introduced by Wayne Dyer because he emphasized the importance of curiosity. You have to be curious about what can happen in your life, and you have to be intentional about making new things happen in your life. And when you are curious, you're going to ask yourself, what if I do this? What if I try this? What if I go this way? What if I go that way? And what you'll begin to notice is through that curiosity, asking yourself, what if, you begin to take certain actions. You begin to say, okay, what if I look into this thing? I see that I can do it. What if I look into what it takes to start a brand? And what if I find a place that has the fabric I want? And what if I want to find new manufacturing? Where do I find that? Okay, I found a website where I can find manufacturing. What if I want a manufacturer who does customization? What if I want a manufacturer who has great communication skills? What if this manufacturer sounds great? But what if I want to go and try this other manufacturer who's giving me a better deal? Asking yourself what if is so, so, so big because it creates a sense of curiosity.
The process of speed learning is to approach life with a level of curiosity. Like, stop going through life looking at every situation with a period or an exclamation point at the end, and start going through life looking at every situation with a question mark at the end. Stop saying, I can't afford it, and start saying, how can I afford it? Stop saying, I don't know how to do that, and start saying, how can I learn how to do that? Or start saying, how awesome is life going to be when I learn how to do that? Like, if you ask better questions, you will get better answers. Better answers than what? Than the ones that you have now that are giving you what you have now, which you'd rather not have now, and you'd rather have something else. Can I get a witness?
Now, one thing I do want to say is curiosity gets kind of a bad rap because I'm sure some of you have heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat, you know, and, digging too much into something, you might find things that you don't like, something that you don't want to see. But it depends on what you're being intentional about being curious about. If you are intentional with where you are placing your curiosity, you're going to find much better outcomes than if you're not intentional and you know you shouldn't be doing that thing and you're curious about it and now you're in a hole that you can't get yourself out of. That's a very different thing. Being intentional about where you place your curiosity is super, super important. I think something that cripples people 9 times out of 10 is fear. Fear is something that holds many of us back. Fear is something that, cripples us and keeps us from moving forward. It keeps us from asking those questions. It keeps us from asking what if. It keeps us from being curious because there's a fear of the uncertain. There's a fear of the unknown. I have found that the only way to really conquer fear is to take whatever it is that you want to do, and rather than allowing yourself to feel fear at the thought of a new thing, rather look at that thing at the surface level. Meaning, if you want to, I don't know, start a fitness boutique and you are thinking about it and it sounds big and a lot and it sounds scary and you don't know where to start and you're just like, I'm not doing it. I find that if you think about it on the surface level, if you just think, I want to start a fitness boutique, and you don't place any emotion there, you don't place any fear there, you don't even place excitement there yet. All you do is say, what if I look into places that I think would be best suited for a fitness boutique? And if that's where you start, that's where you start. People get very caught up in, I don't know where to start. And that's a big part of the fear. That's a big part of keeping them from asking deeper questions. You can literally start anywhere with whatever it is that you want to do. There is no right or wrong way to go about seeing your dreams come to life. If you want to start a fitness boutique, for example, if you want to start a online ministry, if you want to start a clothing brand, if you want to, whatever it is that you want to do, there is no perfect place to start. Start with whatever it is that you can do right now. If you're sitting in your car and you want to start a fitness boutique and you see a plaza that has some empty space, go look at that empty space. Go see how big it is. Go imagine yourself in that studio. Go see how much it costs to rent that studio. It doesn't necessarily mean, if we're using that example, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to make an offer today. Of course not. But what it does mean is I'm putting some action behind, some intention behind what it is that I want to create in my life. And then you begin to ask yourself, what if? I remember one of the first times I began practicing this for myself. I was starting a clothing brand and I had no idea where to start. And that was what was keeping me from starting, is I didn't know where to start. It seemed so daunting. It seemed so big. I had so many ideas that I wanted to execute and I had no idea where to begin with the journey. And literally, I was in my apartment, and this is during COVID actually. I was in my apartment and I just started asking myself, what if? What if I Google how to start a brand? Okay, I see Google says that you need to look into fabrics and wholesale. Okay, what if I look into wholesale? Okay, I see that there are these websites for wholesale. Okay, what if I want this type of aesthetic for my fashion brand? And you just keep on going. You just keep on asking those questions. And what you're going to find is, more than likely, what it is that you want to do is totally within your ability to make happen. The big things might seem daunting. You know, building the capital to open a fitness boutique might seem daunting, but looking into what it takes to get the branding for that business boutique is a lot less daunting than looking into the capital that it's going to take to open the boutique. So start with where you can start. Begin at that point, because what's going to happen is, as you begin to move, as that momentum begins to flow through you, things will begin to happen in your favor that allow that thing to come to pass. I'm a very, very firm believer in what's for you is for you, but you have to be there to receive it. So if it's on your heart to, I'm going to keep using the same example of a fitness boutique. If it's on your heart to start a fitness boutique and you want to do that thing, you have to understand that that feeling is coming from somewhere. It's coming from a spiritual realm that wants to manifest into reality, what we think of as reality. But the fact of the matter is, it is for you. That thing is for you. If you begin to move in that direction, it is going to work in your favor, because that is a part of what you are here to do. when you think of it from that perspective, when you think of it from the perspective of, I am supposed to be doing this, I am here to do this thing, not only is it a lot less daunting, regardless of what may happen in the near future, it is still going to work out for you because it is what you're here to do. Now, there might be some people here who say something like, well, what about, this person's business or this person's idea? It didn't work out for them. Or what about this person? They were super intentional and they were believing and they were going in a certain direction and it didn't work out for them. Just because something doesn't work out doesn't mean that it's not going to work out. Just because you start a thing and it doesn't work out in your favor in the direction that you were going doesn't mean that if you don't stop that it won't eventually work out in your favor. A lot of people make the mistake of giving up too soon. Still using that example of a fitness boutique, you start the journey of trying to make a fitness boutique happen for yourself, and you come across so many obstacles, and you begin to realize that this is not working out. That is not the time to give up. That's actually the time to keep pushing because you want to get to the other side of whatever it is that you're being intentional about creating. Rather than say, okay, it's not going to work. It isn't working out for me. It didn't work out for that person. So why would it work out for me? You have to look at that situation like, okay, I'm moving in this direction and it's rocky. It's not working. I don't want to pursue it anymore. Whatever, what have you. In what way now am I shifting? In what way now do I want to go? Because oftentimes we'll be led down a path and we'll be going in a certain direction, and that will be the way that we are supposed to go at that time in our lives. You wanting to start that fitness boutique is the way you are supposed to go at that point in your life. But once you get to a certain point and you realize, like, this isn't working out for me, this isn't the vision that I had, you have to then ask yourself, what has my vision developed into? What am I now intentional about creating in my life? What am I now passionate about? It's not about it didn't work out. It's about what lessons did I learn along the way and where am I at now? Now that I know more about what it is that I was pursuing initially, how can I apply that to this new thing, these new ideas that I now have that are going to propel me forward? And again, it goes back to curiosity. You have to have a level of curiosity at all stages of what it is that you want to do. If you get to a point where you want to stop and you want to say, okay, I don't like where I'm going, this isn't working out for me, I want to move in a different direction. Get curious again. Okay, how am I feeling? Where do I want to go now? What am I passionate about now? Do I want to quit this or do I want to pursue something else? And then you continue along that journey. And now you've learned so many lessons about what your initial intention was that you won't make the same mistakes again. I see a lot of artwork on the internet that an artist may have created, and it is usually showing the journey of someone leveling up. It might be someone climbing some stairs and they're really hard and crooked, but he still is managing to climb those stairs. He's still trying to go up them and get through the difficulty to get to where it is that he wants to go. But something that is important to understand, even in those drawings, is that just because he's climbing those stairs and they're rocky, doesn't mean that he's thinking the same thoughts, pursuing the exact same thing that he did at the bottom of those stairs. Your ideas, what you desire, can change. The things that you're passionate about as you evolve, as you grow in your journey, as you ask yourself, what if, can change. They can evolve into something new. And you're still on a path of leveling up. You're still on a path of making your life better. But because you are asking more questions and because you are moving now, new ideas are beginning to flow. New things are beginning to come in. And you are being more honest with yourself about what it is that you want. Oftentimes, we get so caught up in what other people are doing on the internet. We get caught up in, well, this girl has a lash tech business, so I'm going to just do that. I'm going to just be a lash tech. It's important to sit with your own thoughts and ask yourself what it is that you want to do, what it is that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about flowers, how can you take that passion and apply it to something that can serve the world? If you're passionate about chocolate like I am, how can you take that thing and figure out a way to ask those questions, to be that curious person so that you can serve it to the world? How can you take your passion and change your life, which will simultaneously make your life better, which will simultaneously make the world better because you're on your purpose. You are serving others. You are making lives better. You know, it is of crucial importance to be curious. It is of crucial importance to ask yourself, what if? If you can ask yourself, what if, the power that you will be able to tap into is literally immeasurable because ideas are going to begin flowing. Do you understand that in the spiritual realm, that is where creativity exists? That is where everything comes from. So the plethora, the massive, immeasurable amount of ideas that you may potentially have, the overflow might be so prevalent and predominant that it overwhelms you, and all of a sudden you have a new excitement about life. All of a sudden you can see a future that you never saw before, you know, and all of it comes from curiosity. All of it comes from asking yourself, what if? If you can ask yourself, what if, not only do you open the doors for a new level of power to enter into your heart, but you open the door for new opportunity. You open the door for new people. You open the door for new relationships. You open the door for new things to happen that totally changes your life for the better. That totally changes who you are for the better. The thing that happens when you become curious, you also become more confident because you begin to realize, oh, I have these ideas. Like, that is brilliant. You begin to hone in on brilliance that you have as an individual. You begin to see yourself from a different perspective. You begin to know yourself on a deeper level. So curiosity isn't just about getting things that you want. It's about becoming a better human being. It's about becoming a more aligned human being with God's will for your life. So I could talk about this for days. I could keep going on and on and on about the power of curiosity, but I'm going to end it right here. If this video helps you, I pray that you received it, and I hope that you leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. But that is all I have for y'all now. And again, be curious. Be curious. Ask yourself, what if, and move with intention. Y'all have a good one.